Checks are finally being deposited for many Americans. This is all due to exciting news. So for months on end, Americans all over the country have been struggling with high cost of living due to inflation, and many people had no chance and no choice but to dip into their savings or spend their debits, credit cards just to cover expenses like food and utilities. Economists have reported that living costs have still remained very high, even as the economy has recovered over time. And there are several states still giving out stimulus checks, and also this month, residents of one specific state are eligible for up to $3,284. Residents in Alaska are used to getting the money from the state. They commonly receive a year's dividend. However, this one is going to be much higher. Thanks to the excess funds from the state budget and stimulus payments, you will receive more stimulus checks and more money if you live in Alaska. The Inflation Reduction Act, everybody, is also set to lower prescription prices for millions of people in the United States. But according to NBC News, experts fear that companies could exploit loopholes in the bill, ultimately keeping prescription costs high for many people. The law takes aim at insulin costs, caps out-of-pocket spending for Medicare beneficiaries, and allows the federal government to negotiate the prices of the costliest prescriptions. It will also require prescription makers to pay a rebate to Medicare if their prices are raising too high, if their prices are raising too sharply. Those provisions will be implemented all at once, instead to go into effect over the next 3 years, beginning with the insulin price caps and rebates in 2023, out-of-pocket caps in 2025, and finally negotiations on prescriptions in 2026. And because of the 4-year gap before the law is implemented, policy and legal experts fear that companies may have time and ample time to go on the offense and figure out ways to sidestep provisions. Experts said that they expect to see more companies release generic versions of the medications in the coming years. This to avoid the health law's provision that allows the government to negotiate prescription prices. Starting in 2026, the law will allow the government to negotiate prices on the costliest prescriptions covered by Medicare, but only if the medication has been on the market for a certain amount of time, and only if the medication doesn't have a comparable alternative. Generally, generics have been bringing down the cost of prescriptions when they are offered at a low price. It's more difficult to maintain a high price on the brand name version, but despite more generics on the market, experts say that American consumers likely wouldn't see huge discounts on the prices for those prescriptions. The comments from both officials added to an ongoing debate of how badly the Federal Reserve's rate hikes will hurt the economy. By lifting its benchmark rate, the Fed is pushing up the cost of a wide range of consumer and business loans, including mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards. Collins said that while worries are rising about the recession, the goal of a more modest slowdown, while challenging, is achievable. Also Monday, stocks fell for the 5th straight day, and long-term interest rates rose again amid growing fears for a global recession. The yield of the 10-year Treasury, which includes mortgage rates, jumped from 3.9 to 3.7%. So hopefully somebody can do something about this and send out stimulus payments soon.
From Texas reserves, the gentlewoman from Connecticut is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from New Jersey, the chairman of the Energy and Commerce Committee, Mr. Pallone.
Thank you, and I want to thank the chairwoman of the Appropriations Committee and all that she's done to get us to the point where we're able to pass this continuing resolution today. Thank you, Chairwoman. In June, House Democrats and Republicans came together to pass by an overwhelming supermajority a sweeping package of reforms at the Food and Drug Administration. That bipartisan legislation would strengthen the integrity of the Accelerated Approval Program, foster innovation, improve clinical trial diversity, and reauthorize the agency's medical product user fee programs. Those user fee programs help fund FDA reviews for safety and efficacy of drugs and medical devices. While the House completed its work in June, the Senate failed to act. As soon as we passed our legislation through the House, I reached out to Ranking Member Rogers and the Democratic and Republican leaders of the Senate Health Committee to begin bipartisan, bicameral conversations to come to an agreement on a package of mutually agreeable FDA reforms. After weeks of negotiation,